What is up, guys? Jyles here from the Jyles FBA podcast, and today we're having on Adam. Adam, how are you doing today?
Hey man, what's going on? How's it going?
Good. And then Michael as the co-host. What's up, Michael?
What's up, guys?
And basically we're just going to be diving into Adam's reselling journey, Amazon journey. He does a bit of cards too, so we're just going to pick his brain and just ask him all types of questions. So first off, Adam, how long have you been reselling? How long have you been doing Amazon? How long have you been doing cards? Do you do any shoes? Just give me the complete rundown of Adam's reselling journey.
Yeah, for sure. So, I've been doing reselling for a long time. Actually, I have a few more years than you guys do in life. So, I actually started. I had an eBay business back when eBay first was invented, like early 2000s, maybe something like that. I had a business where I would go to people's houses or their office or whatever, and instead of having a garage sale, I'd go around to walk on the house and find items that I could sell on eBay for them. It was like a consignment, basically. I would take pictures, post listings on eBay, do all the eBay shit for them, and then take a commission. So I was doing that for, like I said, early 2000s, I think, when I started. And so that kind of started my reselling bug, whatever. And that spun into, I sold some shoes. I always was the kind of guy who I'd be at Target and I'd see something, oh, this looks limited. Let me try to sell it on eBay, in the early stages of that. Let me flip it on Facebook Marketplace, whatever it was. Like, let me go to garage sales. This looks like I can make a couple bucks on it. So I've been always doing that. I've been doing cards for quite a while, probably. I mean, when I was a kid, I collected cards. I got out of it for a little while, got back in mid, 2000, teens, 2015 probably. Started getting heavy again on cards. And then I just got into Amazon this year. So I started my first full month of Amazon was February of this year.
Nice.
So, and then went pretty hard right away.
Nice. So you've been in the reselling game for a long time, like you said. So
Yeah.
How do you think reselling has changed over the years, over the past 20 years or however long it's kind of been? What do you think are the key differences from 2000 to 2023?
I mean, it's huge. I never myself got into a lot of the botting and that kind of stuff. I was more on the outside or all that kind. And back, early 2000s, that wasn't a thing. Maybe there was people doing it, but I wasn't aware. I was more, like I said, doing, finding stuff that people had that they didn't want anymore, doing more garage sale type of reselling style, and doing that. And then obviously eBay grew up and all these, StockX, all these sites, manifested themselves. And so, it became a huge industry. And so that's where it's at now. I mean, the technology took over and basically made it a $1 billion industry or whatever it is now.
Yeah.
And so, it's world's different now. This was before Amazon even existed.
Yeah.
And so it's a totally different game now.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what do you think the future for reselling looks like? Because sometimes people tell me, reselling there's no longevity to reselling. And I'm like, well, there's always going to be limited items. I mean, people, as long as there's a demand and there's not enough supply, then there's always going to be a secondary market where the prices increase.
Right.
So what's your kind of idea on reselling the next year, the next 5 years, next 20 years, next 100 years? Because even with AI coming out, there's who knows what the future holds for reselling, I guess.
No, I
Especially solely online. I mean, it's just it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think there's always a market, and even if you don't think that there's a market for limited items and stuff like that, I mean, I think COVID showed us that people prefer to have convenience and to not go into shops or to not, the carry-out business is blown up, restaurants converted from in-house to carry-out only, or, from 70% in-house to 30% carry-out. So now it flipped the other way or whatever it is, so again, if you don't think that there's limited items, there's still going to be people who want their deodorant or their shampoo or their eggs or whatever delivered to them next day or same day. So there's always going to be that. And so that's what Amazon's so great, because you can get everything. It's not, you are selling limited items in some cases, but in many cases you're just selling their Nike shorts or their shampoo or whatever, like their lotions, their, whatever they want to buy, they're just getting, instead of going to Target or to Walmart, they're just buying it from Amazon just to get it delivered that day or next day.
I wanna touch on that. Like, you obviously mentioned convenience, and I know personally, I think that is 99% of Amazon. Like, nobody's reverse sourcing like we do and looking on other sites to find the item for cheaper. What do you think is like the big thing on Amazon? Would you say convenience, or just being the biggest marketplace, variety? What makes it resellable for you personally?
I think it's both of those. I think it's the convenience. It's that most people anywhere in the world essentially can pick up their phone and search toothpaste. They can order toothpaste, socks, shampoo, like fruit snacks for their kids, like whatever they want, and they can order it, and it can
Grill.
5 o'clock in the afternoon when they get home from work, and tomorrow at 5, it's there when they get home from work, and they don't have to stop at Target on the way home or at CVS or at Walmart or whatever. And maybe they're paying $1 more, maybe they're not. In some cases, you're not even paying more. Some cases you're paying less, but they don't even care about the money. They could be paying $10 more, but the fact they don't have to stop at a grocery store on the way home from work or whatever, that's what it is. It's the convenience, and it's the ease of doing all of it at once, one-stop shop, just from the click of the phone. I mean, that's just what it is.
Yeah, I mean, people say time is money all the time. So, yeah, I mean, they aren't like us reverse sourcing. Okay, I'm trying to find the lowest price on this toothpaste to save $4 or whatever it is. Yeah, Amazon's just, yeah, I mean, there's people that only shop on Amazon now. They don't go into Walmart. They don't go into Target. They hop on their PC, hop on their phone. They type in whatever they want. They make 2 clicks and it's there tomorrow, just like you said. So I think that's what's huge for us sellers. I mean, that gives us the edge, I guess.
Right. I mean, I'm sure the majority of people, if you're out with someone and you're talking about a product, the first place they go search, they pull up their Amazon app and they look for it. Mm-hmm. And when I'm with people, they're looking at Amazon. I'm like, oh shit, where can I find this cheaper?
Yeah.
No one else does that.
We're clicking on that little Google button on selling.
So I can find how much can I get it for? If you're going to buy it on Amazon for $19, let me see where I can find it somewhere for $9.
Yeah, I know.
No one else does that.
A couple weeks back, I was home, and my mom's boyfriend wanted me to look at a golf book for me to read. And it was like $10.99 on Amazon, and of course, me being me, I found it for $9.93 on Walmart. Obviously, there's no margins there, but it's just the conception of, okay, we're going to save a few bucks here and there. And I don't know, it's no one else is really willing to do that, I think, nowadays.
Right. And it probably Walmart was going to take 2 days shipping. Amazon was going to be next day, whatever. And so people want that convenience. And, and Amazon, obviously, which is not necessarily great for us, they have a great return policy and all this consumer buyer protection, everything. And so it doesn't hurt us, but that's what people buy there.
Yeah. Right. I want to, so like, obviously you've seen the growth of Amazon longer than Jyles and I. What do you think? I know people are going to say, everything like has an ending point, nothing lasts forever, but do you think Amazon will be taken over by any company in the near future at all?
I don't know. I mean, anything's possible. I don't think it's going to go away. There's always going to be competition, and I mean, they have such a head start on everybody. I know, you can do Walmart. There's like a Walmart FBA. I don't
right.
And I think there was talk that there was another, like an Amazon competitor coming, but I don't know what happened with that, if it's still coming or what. But I mean, they have such a, it's even like, Apple's huge, but there's also Android, and it's like there's room for more, or there's tons of room in the marketplace for multiple competitors. Or you look at cards like this top, Panini, like they're both doing just fine. It's not no one's hurting.
Yeah.
I mean, to touch on that question, Michael, I really don't see anyone coming in the near future and competing at the level that Amazon's competing at. I mean, each year they're producing billions of dollars more than the past. So it's still growing. And that's unreal to think about. Like, you can talk to anyone on the street and they know what Amazon is. You can talk to anyone overseas and they know what Amazon is. Like, you'd think they're close to the peak, but every year you look at the numbers and they're still growing.
Yeah, so I just pulled up a little chart here. Amazon ending their fiscal year September 30th of 2022, they did 502 billion and some change in revenue. And like that's just it's not possible anywhere else. You know, if you captured 1/100% of those sales, you're probably making 6, even up to 7 figures in profit alone.
Yeah, people are always asking me, oh, everyone's getting into Amazon FBA. Isn't it going to be saturated? There's not going to be enough, or there's just going to be influx of sellers, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bro, everyone can get a piece of this pie.
Yeah.
Like,
and even at that, most people give up in 3 months. And the people who don't, like, it's not even competing with them. It's adapting and finding new products, getting into different, businesses, just finding a way around of that influx of sellers. And I feel like we do a pretty good job of that, especially taking advantage of, like, say the Target Circle offers last week. I mean, how many people knew about that? I made a couple $100 off one video game.
Yeah.
And it's just, you do that, 3-4 times a month, you're making pretty good money on the side.
And to touch on that, those are the advantages of being in a group, or if it's not even Jyles FBA or another cook group, being in a small group where everyone's sourcing. I mean, they can be a few hours a day or 8-10 hours a day, and just kind of sharing in that small group of 2 to 5 people, or a bigger group even, being, okay, Target Circle has that video game offer of, what was it, $20 off 30 or something?
$30 off any Super Mario game, and they were retail 50 to 60, selling for 50 to 60, so cut that price in half, basically.
Yeah. So being in those small groups and even a little larger groups, you'll be able to take advantage of those limited time sales, which is obviously huge for us Amazon sellers, because we're always trying to leverage those discounts, those clearances to drive MSRP down so we can flip it to Amazon for a profit. I kind of want to shift gears here. Kresh, starting off, what were your biggest roadblocks going into Amazon FBA, kind of transitioning from cards, from eBay? Obviously you still do those. But what were your biggest roadblocks?
There's a learning curve, obviously, trying to figure out some of the technology and putting a shipment together and all that, but I don't think that was that big of a deal. Like that, I kind of just walked through some tutorials and, maybe made a couple mistakes, but it wasn't a big deal. I think the biggest issue is capital, or like figuring out how to kind of manage capital and you buy something, let's say you spend $1,000 on inventory, and then the waiting time of how long it takes to get to Amazon, get checked in, sell, and then you get paid. And it's like a long process, and deciding, am I waiting to get paid again? Do I just put more capital out? Like that kind of process. And really what I realized is that the worst thing I could do is wait. If I wanted to scale, the worst thing I can do is wait, because you're not going fast enough.
Yeah.
Like there's too many laps, and then it's like you have $1,000 sale every 2, 3, 4 weeks versus you could sell $1,000 every day. And so I say that was the hardest. Managing the capital, figuring out when to like rebuy, and to avoid like lapses in inventory or lapses in sales. It's what I realize, and it's stressful sometimes, that you got to keep pushing, and have like somewhat of a blind faith, knowing that it's going to come, like
it's going to work out.
Yeah. Like you're going to get that deposit, from Amazon in a week or 2 weeks, or take a deposit early if you need to, if you have the funds available, pay the credit card down and like rebuy. Because it's not going to work. If you're trying to scale it, it's not going to work if you wait to sell everything, get paid, then buy again and wait to sell everything, get paid. Like it's just too slow. That can be a model that can work if you're just looking to do it slow and whatever. If you're looking to scale, you have to just keep going and just keep pushing into it as much as you can.
So I've personally noticed a big thing touching on that. Like, since I've been scaling per se, I make sales, get that money back. Obviously, like reinvesting, scaling, I'm not seeing this profit yet. But once I pay off that credit card bill, and then, so do you have any issues with, like, say, inventory setting? If you put in 10 grand, your profit loss tracker, probably seller board, says you made 3, and then you don't see that extra 3 come back in, but it's sitting in inventory. Is that like an issue for you, or you just see that as kind of profit on top, like later down the road?
No, I mean, I'm just sort of seeing it like in my mind. I'm just envisioning a profit down the line and just knowing that it's gonna it's like that blind faith. Like I'm eventually knowing that I'm gonna get ahead, and I'm still enough to where I'm not getting ahead. I'm not like behind. I'm just sort of like, I get paid and I respend, and I get paid and I respend, and I always have inventory. I feel like I have a ton of inventory because it just takes time and to check in and time to sell. And, I have like 50, 60, 70 of certain items that I feel like the second they check in, I'm going to sell them all in a day. But sometimes it just takes 3-4 weeks until they hit. And so just constantly playing catch up. And so I don't look at it I just look at it as future profit.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to Michael yesterday in the DMs about, like, he's started with, let's say, $500 in November, which is somewhat true. And then say he's up to $50,000 in like inventory, but like he said, he wasn't seeing any profit. And I'm like, well, if you're starting out with $500 in inventory and now you have $50,000 in inventory, profit's there. It's
obviously something's been doing
right,
or been doing something right, but
yeah.
It doesn't really show. That's what I love about, seller board, inventory labs, whatever. I can't see that net profit and then throw back in that extra 3 or 4 grand, whatever it is, a month, because the power of reinvesting is just ridiculous, especially when it comes to something like Amazon. All you have to do is sit down and click buy, send it to your prep center or prep it yourself, and then the rest kind of is totally on them.
Right.
You mentioned it's kind of scary to reinvest back into Amazon. Like you said, you can't buy inventory for a day or two, give it a month till it checks in, and you sell out and buy inventory again. And that's just when you'll have gaps in your sale. There's no constant sales. It definitely is scary. Like keep buying when you know that you're not going to see this money for a month and a half. Oh, what if this breaks and I bought 50 units? Like there's definitely a scary factor to it. But I'm sure you check out all the Keepa charts and stuff to kind of back what you're buying. Kind of how long did it take you to get a good understanding of Keepa? Obviously, SellerAmp and Keepa are 2 pretty complex tools that I personally don't know everything about, just because they have so many different features. But when did you kind of feel comfortable about Keepa and SellerAmp, I guess?
Yeah, I think SellerAmp was like pretty simple. It's like pretty just like nuts and bolts data, and it's like, you plug it in, it says that's what you're gonna make, and that's what it is. And then the Keepa kind of gives you more historical. I still don't feel that I'm like very good with Keepa. I understand it to a point where I can be dangerous enough to make decisions. But it doesn't mean that tomorrow, 40 other sellers are going to jump on and brick it something or whatever. But I'm definitely, getting more comfortable with it. I just think more you use it and more you learn what the different symbols mean and different tabs on it are. And it's just a learning curve. It's the more you use it, the better you get. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even say, I don't even feel comfortable at this point even teaching someone yet about Keepa really. I'm still learning, but I'm definitely getting comfortable with it.
Gotcha. So going back to your garage sales days. Obviously, you would probably look it up on eBay, go to the sales, and be like, okay, I can pick this off this guy. I'll give him 10% commission. It looks like it's selling on eBay for $200. You're like, okay, once I sell this for $200, eBay takes their cut. I'll pay him $17 or $18 or whatever it is. Do you kind of feel more comfortable looking at Keepa charts rather than just like a few eBay sales a month? Because I find myself personally feeling more comfortable looking at Keepa charts and being like, okay, here's all the data laid out for this listing. Rather than just like eBay, obviously, you know, with like cards, there can be fake comps. There can be sales that didn't really happen. There can be shill bidding. There's a bunch of different factors that come in, especially with cards. But I know with Amazon, it's like, okay, this product has been selling at $45 a month for the past 6 months. And there's been 5 to 10 sellers. Like, there hasn't been any insane drop-offs. There hasn't been any IP complaints. There hasn't been, yeah, I mean, do you feel more comfortable? I personally feel more comfortable looking at an Amazon Keep a chart rather than like eBay sales with cards and making my decisions that way, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely more like reliable as far as the accuracy of the data on Keepa versus on eBay. Because like you said, there could be a lot of shills. There could be, you know, you could have sold a card to your, you know, to your buddy, let's say, just to make a comp look good. Obviously, no one's on Amazon pumping up the price of something, you know, or whatever. That's not happening. And so there's definitely that, I guess, accuracy point to it.
It's
just different. I mean, it's just a different type of data.
That's wild that you just mentioned about selling like your card on eBay for a better comp. So a week or two ago, I sold Justin Fields Blue Ice, PSA 10, and I sold it to a kid on Instagram. Next thing I know, there's an eBay sale. So the last sale was $2,500 back in maybe a month ago. Next thing you know, my card was listed on eBay, sold for $3,900 by a 6 feedback guy. And I hit him up. I'm like, did you already sell this card? He's like, he was like kind of doing the roundabout.
Yeah.
So he sold it to his boy to make the comp look better. Obviously, it wasn't paid. They canceled.
Right.
But like, that's the scummy shit. He's gonna take this card to the national next week, and they're gonna be like, okay, $3,900. I mean, Fields, he's on the up. It's Blue Ice, super rare. For anyone that don't know or doesn't know cards, I mean, you'll be so confused. But they'll be like $3,900. Okay, I'll give you $3,500 for it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they're gonna get fleeced.
That happens, especially now, like this time of year. That happens even more.
Yeah.
In the national, people do that. You know, there's a lot of fake comps from the national. Like, the last 30 days or so, I'd say a lot of the comps are fake.
Yeah.
And especially on a card like that, you can't. It's not like that card sold 14 times in the last 30 days.
Exactly.
You only won, so it's easy to fake.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it happens. So that's why I try to use other sites. Like I'll use, 130 points. I'll use Card Ladder. A lot of times Card Ladder will scrub that data. Not always, but they try to. So, but I know you gotta be careful. Yeah. So stuck with that.
Yeah. So now that you're on, or we're on cards, let's kind of touch on what you do with cards. Are you buying and grading? Are you buying at 70%, flipping for 80, 85, 90%? What's kind of your mindset going into flipping cards? And this will be good for everyone that's in the reselling space, either FBA space or just general reselling, to kind of maybe have an opportunity to get into cards, because cards can be very profitable if you know what you're doing. Obviously, you can't just wake up tomorrow and be the best dealer there is, but touch on your mindset when it comes to cards.
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of different things with cards. Cards, I do it to make money, but I also do it cards. I like doing cards. Like, I enjoy cards. I have more of like a connection to the cards. I have a hard time selling some of my cards, and so it's like a fine line, I guess, sometimes. But I try. I set up at a lot of shows, and so if someone comes with my table, I'll try to. I don't really have any rules. Like, I know a lot of guys say they'll buy at this percent or that percent. I sort of like feel it out based on how hot is the card and how rare is the card and, what's the value. If it's, if it's a $50 card, I might pay a different percentage of a comp versus a $500 card or a $5,000 card because there's different, 10% is different on all those, 10% on $50 is nothing. 10% on 5,000 is a good chunk. So it just kind of depends. I do try to buy a lot of raw and grade. I try to always have a stack of raw going that I can send in. I don't right now. I need to get some more in, but there's always huge margins, obviously, on raw to grade, and that's the number one way to get some profit. And then new releases when they come out, if it's a hot new release to flip the. I feel like those are usually lower margins a lot of times because once enough people get it, it goes down. But if you can get something, $200 box and sell for $250 real quick, like, make that 20% or whatever it is after fees and just turn it over real fast. We'll try to do some of that stuff too.
So you got back into cards before the boom, right?
Yeah.
So how crazy was that for you? Were you obviously you were already ahead of the game. I mean, simple base rookies were going for hundreds of dollars that there's tens of thousands of. I personally wasn't into cards at that time, so I don't know all about it. I've heard all the stories in the world, but kind of hit on how huge that card boom was during COVID for anyone that.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty crazy. Like, looking back, I didn't even take advantage of it as much as I could have. Like, I didn't even realize, because I was still I wasn't 100% in and doing, I mean, I was in big, but I wasn't I guess I didn't know as much as I thought I knew and much as I know now. Well, I was buying, I would go around to shows and I'd buy Donovan Mitchell Prism base cards for $5 and grade them. And then, Luka Prism base cards for $15-20 and grade them. And all the names like Luka, Trey, Donovan Mitchell, Tatum, all these cards were super cheap. All these base cards, you could pick them up. They were in dollar boxes and whatever. And they were everywhere, and then we'd grade them. And then I was selling Luka base Prism PSA 10s for $1,500, $1,800, $2,000, what I should have been doing at the time was buying Luka Prism PSA or Luka Prism blue ices or purples or whatever. And at the time I didn't realize, right? Not that I realized, I also wasn't looking to spend. They were maybe $100 at the time or $200 at the time. Now they're thousands, or they became thousands. I was looking to spend a couple bucks, here and there with my son, and we would go and we'd search around for stuff. And, but it was just crazy, how the prices just flew up. But I would buy it now on $20 Lukas all day long on eBay. And then 3 weeks later, they were 40. And then 3 weeks later that they were 60. And then they were, 100, 200. And then PSA 10s were 2,000. And, it was wild.
Yeah, I mean that's absurd. Especially like you were saying, the blue ices, the people who were buying the higher end before the boom that were a few $100. I mean, even four figures, $1,000, $1,500, and now those cards are 15, 20, 30 grand.
Yeah,
it's hard to fathom that the true. I like it because I feel like the true collectors actually got paid, which is which is good, which is a positive, in my mind.
So there was this kid at like I say, he's a kid. He's probably your guys' age, whatever. But
okay,
he was maybe in high school still, 5-6 years ago, whatever, when this was started, and he had the most ridiculous Luka Prism collection, purple ice, blue ice, silvers, which is not even that impressive anymore, but just so many nice cards, and I'm sure he didn't pay more than a few $100 a piece, and they're all worth 5-6 figures now, some of them, and he's in college probably now. It just what a come up, it's just crazy.
Business is crazy.
Yeah.
You mentioned sometimes you have a hard time letting go of cards. I personally don't have a hard time letting go of cards unless it's Tiger Woods. I'm not selling any of my Tiger Woods. So if anyone's selling a Tiger Woods auto or rookie or anything, I'll buy anything. DM me. So what's kind of your PC, or is it just like random cool cards? I know some cards have like sick patches, and it's like, wow, this one's unique, this one's cool. I don't want to let this one go. But what's kind of your forte when it comes to what you collect, I guess?
Yeah, I have a couple of things. So I collect a little bit of LeBron, a couple of Giannis's that I have that I like to hold on to. And then like probably my main PC is wrestling WWE cards. And so I probably have one of, if not the best rock collection. And so those are tough to sell, and they're pretty valuable. So like I have a bunch of his golds, like his 2014 Topps Chrome Gold Rock. It's the first time they did Topps Chrome WWE. It's gold out of 50. It's when they were out of 50 when they did Topps Chrome. It's a Pop 5 now. Someone actually just gemmed another one. It was Pop 4 for a long time. I think the last recorded, well, there was a private sale. The last private sale was around 20 grand, give or take.
Oof.
So it's a big card. And so like, if someone came up with a bag of cash for 20,000, would I be able to turn that down? Like, I don't know. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But none have come up for public sale recently or ever, I don't think. So I have stuff like that, a couple other gold rocks. So those are really tough. Like anytime I think about selling them, like the cash sounds really nice, but also I like having. So I have a bunch of gold wrestling cards that are less than Pop 5. Some of them are Pop 1s, like Vince McMahon autos, which are very rare, stuff like that. So
for anyone that doesn't know what he's talking about when he says like Pop 5, Pop 1, Pop 10, it means there's, let's say it's Pop 5, he's saying there's only 5 graded PSA 10s of X card. So it's just basically the rarity of the card, and encased, I guess, in a slab.
Yeah.
Yeah, wrestling's a unique one. I've owned a few wrestling cards in my day. I mean, the one that I think about, or the only one I remember really, is a year ago at the National. This guy only collected wrestling. I met him at a trade night. Super nice guy. I had a Shawn Michaels out of like 25 or 50 or something like that, patch auto. I got it in a huge bulk deal. Probably got it for 120, 150 bucks. And he bought it for me, $400 cash, no negotiation or anything. I'm like, 400. He's like, done. I'm like, maybe I should buy more wrestling?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, wrestling took off the last couple of years. I mean, once Panini got the license for wrestling, they started making Prism cards that brought a lot of new attention to it. And so, I mean, it really took off. Like, I mean, I've been like wrestling for a long time, so I'm into all my stuff for pretty cheap. That's also why it's hard. It's like, do I sell it? Like, I'm into it for still cheap anyway. Might as well hold on to it. But I don't know. I'm debating bringing some to the National and moving a few of the higher end stuff that I have that I'm not like as connected to.
Yeah,
it's always nice to cash out a little bit.
I saw that tweet. Yeah,
yeah.
It looked like,
but like those are all pretty rare, and I don't. I'm sure someone else has a collection similar to that, but I don't think that many people, if anyone, has like that run of those like I have. I mean, those are some of the top guys, and you know, I think all except one was a PSA 10, and they're all very low population. Some of them are Pop 1, Pop 2s, and so I know those cards people are looking for them. So
do you watch WWE still, or just like back in the day? Okay,
I did back in the day, and then like I watched with my kids, and we're going to SummerSlam in 2 weeks.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be in Michigan here, so we're going to that. So yeah, we watch. I don't watch like I used to watch, but I still keep up on it. It's fun.
What do you think about Logan Paul coming into the scene?
A lot of people love awesome performer. He's one of like the best wrestlers. Like when he's in the ring, I'm amazed by how talented he is, like athletically and like the things he can do, because he's better than some of the wrestlers who their whole life have been training. And he's obviously good on the microphone, and he's a good performer. He's entertaining. So I like when he's like, I enjoy watching it. I think it's
fun. I'm personally a huge Logan Paul guy, just because he's super intelligent in all business aspects.
Yep.
I watched almost every, if not every, Impulsive podcast. I like that podcast. Him and Mike really hit it off, and they have some big guests as well. I just always looked up to Logan as like a big business guy. I mean, the stuff he's done with KSI, with Prime, is unreal. Obviously he's made a few mistakes in this time, but haven't.
Where he'll have a card potentially, like a WWE card one of these days, and people are just going to be a crazy card, like how that what was that UFC card?
Hezbollah,
yeah, like that. How that was a crazy card, like for no reason, it's just worth a ton. Like Logan Paul. Imagine if like there was a Logan Paul Prism Gold or something. Like how big would that
it'd be so sick.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, especially if I'm gonna predict this, if that ever comes out, which it probably will. I have a feeling that Logan Paul will try to get every single one of them because he is a collector. He collects mostly Pokemon from my knowledge.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if a card like a gold out of 10 Logan Paul comes out, I'm sure he'll be after every single one of them, which would be sick. Imagine making a deal with Logan Paul of his own card. I mean, it'd just be cool. Yeah, dude. So Chicago next week, National. Let's kind of touch on that. We kind of turned this into a card podcast, but reselling, making money. If you aren't into cards, get into it. Well, what's kind of your I don't know, what are your goals going into the National, the biggest card show ever? I know last year was like 4,500 tables, Chicago. I've never been to a Chicago National, but I'm assuming around 4,500 tables. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely absurd. For anyone that has ever been at a mall when there's a local show or something, probably anywhere between 20, 30 tables. So times that by 150 or whatever it is. And that's the National. You can walk that show for 5 days and still not see every card.
Right.
Give me your rundown, and then I'll kind of give you my rundown of what I'm going in there to kind of do.
Yeah, for sure. I think someone said it's 500,000 continuous feet of cards and memorabilia and whatever people are selling that. So like 500,000 is insane. I don't know. It's about 4,500, 5,000 tables, I think, of booths, but yeah, 500,000 continuous square footage. So my plan is there's a few people I want to meet that I haven't I see only at big events. So I'll definitely network with those people. It's my son will be with me. It's his first National. So he's super pumped. We'll just go around, do a lot of like bargain box diving, get some inventory for some shows coming up. I'm bringing a bunch of stuff to try to flip. And there's the like the National, the VIP packs or the silver packs. I mean, the silver and gold packs and the Topps redemption packs. Like those are always fun to try to get. So I don't think they've announced like what you need yet exactly for those, but I don't know if they do it right when you're there when you find out, maybe the year before, but those are always fun. You buy, you buy a box of Topps Chrome and they give you 2 silver packs or whatever they are, and then those have special cards in them. Those are always fun to open or flip or whatever. That's always a good like little bit of money making there.
Yeah.
Or try to do that. There's a bunch of like parties and trade nights. Yeah. I'd say like really the trade nights are probably even better than
they are.
So like not even the real trade nights, the like impromptu trade nights.
The hotels. Yeah.
Exactly. You'll be able to walk into your lobby at any moment and there'll be a dozen, if not 100 people just sitting there talking cards, showing off their cards, trading. And, if someone brought a card there, they want to show it off. And if you offer the right deal, they're willing to sell it.
Exactly.
So like, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, dude. Trade nights are the best. Last year I went to the National and AC. I don't know if you went or not.
I was not there last year, no.
Don't recommend AC to anyone. It's terrible. Hookers, drugs, homeless, like begging for money right when you walk out of the like it's wild. Definitely not a nice place. Very dirty. I think they announced 2026 there.
Yeah, it's gonna go to Cleveland next year. Yeah. Then back to Chicago, and then AC again.
Yeah.
Dallas was nice, but
that was nice.
Who was it that got $2,000 cash stolen?
Every Dallas show, someone gets robbed.
Yeah. I just saw a recent post the other day that had a picture of police there again at the latest show, and it happened again. So wouldn't be Dallas without somebody stealing some cash.
Yeah, I will say last year last year at the National, I definitely got my hopes up and got them busted really quickly because every dealer there was 120, 140% over comps, and you offer them 85% of a card that's like I probably want to pay 85% online, and they'd come back with 100% and be like, well, there's no room. So like you said, trade nights are definitely the best. I mean, people at trade nights, I bought cards and sold them the next day for what, a 30% profit margin, which was awesome. Networking at the National is going to be huge for me this year. I don't care if I sell really one card at the National. I just want to meet people like you, Adam.
Sure.
And then people I talk to on Twitter and Instagram all day, selling cards online too. A good kind of reference I had was I went to a smaller show in Columbus back in, Michael and I actually went.
Yeah.
When was
That's
that?
a nice
Early
show.
June.
Yeah, June 2nd through 4th, I believe.
Yeah, I forget how many tables were there. Not too many deals went down, but a guy walked up to me, and he sells on TikTok, so he had like 2 or 3 cases full of raw. So I just picked through his raw. I pulled out probably 10-ish cards. He's like, first off, before I even picked out anything, he's like, "What percent will you buy it?" I'm like, "I'll give you 80% cash." He's like, "Deal." So we find a value of every single card I picked up. Paid him 80%. It was like a $2,000 deal. It was a bunch of raw cards. Sam Howell, Ritter, Herbert, Prism, Optic, Raider Brook, like all that stuff. Anywhere between, I'd say, $50 and like a $200 or whatever it was. Anyways, got his Instagram. I'm like, yo, when you come across more raw, hit me up on Instagram. Well, he never hit me up, but a few days or like a week goes by. I hit him up. I'm like, dude, got any more raw? Sends me pictures. He's like, just bought this lot. I'm like, I got you. I'll cash out for 85% since it wasn't cash. Cashed them out. I showed Michael this example yesterday. Grades just popped. There's 2 Ritters. They were like the champion ticket blues out of 75. One vertical, one horizontal. Comps at the time when I bought them, vertical 220 comp, horizontal 170. So I got them for 85% of that. I graded them, obviously. I focus on raw grade, so this next week when I do buy cards, I'm looking for $50 plus raw. Obviously, at shows it's easier to buy raw because you can get a visual in hand. I mean, no one can jip you, sending you pictures where you can't see the print line or a white corner or something like that. Anyways, got those Ritters back. They both gemmed. One, a vertical, just sold for $1,000, and then horizontal just sold for $700. So I'm going from, I think, all in $375 with all the grading fees and everything shipping, and then now I'm looking at $1,700-ish. Probably sell for $1,500, and then make that $1,200 or $1,125. But that's the power of raw to grade, like you said. That's where the money's made, especially those guys that go up before the National, before the season, like Sam Howell, like Ritter, like all those guys are going up. Like I've never seen those guys play. I don't think they're gonna be good, but it's all speculation. It's all these guys are dirt cheap. It's the what if. So yeah, I mean that's one of my raw to grade kind of experiences. That's why I only do raw to grade. I used to buy at 70%. And then just consign everything to Probstein and make my 15%. I don't know. Some people are in dire need of cash, I guess. I'd cash them out. But I just said heck with that. I mean, if you're cashing out, yeah, I don't know. I'd rather just put my money into Amazon, where I can see the charts and not really take a huge gamble. Yeah, dude. I don't know. Yeah, you have anything else for him, Michael?
I don't believe so. I'm kind of, a lot less knowledgeable about cars than you guys, so I've just been listening in.
Yeah. I mean, we turned a huge portion of this podcast into cards, but I definitely don't think it's a terrible thing. I feel like everyone should dabble into different things, I guess, to make money.
Right.
there's a
Get a
saying.
couple things you're good at, knowledgeable of, and stick to those and make your money. And
Exactly. Yeah, I saw a thing a few years ago, and basically it said like, um, a percentage of millionaires, it was a large portion of millionaires have like 5 different revenue streams. So whether that's real estate, whether that's cards, whether it's Amazon FBA, general reselling, whatever it is, they just have 5 different streams of income. Because what if Amazon shuts down tomorrow? Obviously not gonna happen, but what if? And then you're out, say you're Amazon full time. Now you're gonna have to find something else. Well, if Amazon shuts down tomorrow, okay, I'm just gonna pick up the gear on cards. I'm just gonna pick up the gear on general reselling. And you have other outs. It's more sustainable and safe, in my opinion.
I do have a quick question for Adam again before we wrap up. So back to Amazon. We're heading into Q4. We all know check-in times are horrendous. Nothing is moving through reserve right now. I know you do probably 99% FBA, but will you break down and start FBMing a whole lot during the holiday season, or will you kind of like eat potential profit for the sake of saving time, less stress on yourself, stuff like that?
I probably will do some FBM a little bit more. I mean, I do once in a while. I do some FBM depending on what it is, or if it's like a one-off thing, like on clearance or something. But I'll probably will end up doing a little bit more FBM, I guess, depending on what it is or where I'm getting it from, or I don't know. I guess it's going to be like a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
I have started like a little bit of getting stuff ready, like some of the Lego that I want to sell for Q4. I've already started like getting it ready to go in. I sent like 4 sets in last week. That it's probably a little too early, but they're already profitable at this point. If they sell now, that's fine.
Right.
They'll be more profitable if I waited, but like by the time they check in, it'll probably be like mid-August. So it's, like I said, it's a little early, but I'm just gonna start sending stuff in a little earlier. And if I got to pay a little bit more, if the return's there, the return's there, and not really worry about it.
Right. So you're probably be starting sending in like Q4 inventory in the next month or so, per se.
Yeah, I saw someone I saw a tweet from some guy, I forgot who it was, but I think he's a bigger seller. And he said,
I think I saw this as well.
I think like everyone saw, yeah. And he said like he's starting like now to like start sending stuff in,
right,
or whatever, just to be ready, and like worst case you sell out early, I guess, as opposed to missing it. That's kind of how I look at it, like
Yeah.
So
obviously
set your price where you want to sell it at. And if your price is $100 and it sells out, October 1st at 100 versus December 1st at 100, like whatever.
Buy something else with that money, yeah.
Right, exactly.
And for those of us, especially me, more capital limited, I know
Right.
I probably won't send, like I can't afford to send stuff in right now, but 2 months down the road, probably three months down the road, I will probably be FBMing like 50% of my inventory, simply because the cash flow, the turnaround time. I mean, I'll be willing to sacrifice a couple hours a day packing orders to save that time. Well, not save that time, but save that cash flow, and really just not risk the check-in times. If that was to go past Christmas or something like that, then could be out 50% of my inventory, take a loss on it. Who knows?
Right. And I'm sure if there's stuff that like I find, from a sale in mid-November, that I'm picking up Black Friday sales, let's say, or whatever, then yeah, I'll just FBM those because I'm no way they're going to get in. I know a lot of people were selling the Lulu bags last year, because they were on sale in early December, or they were available early December. There's no way you can FBA them. They're not going to get in time. So yeah, FBM, stuff like that. But if it's something where I'm buying now, I'm just going to keep, I'm just going to keep my flow going how I've had it. And then, if I buy it late, then I'll sell it. I'll FBM it, kind of thing. So I'm looking at it.
So is this your first Q4 crash?
Yeah. I mean, I did like a few, I maybe sell like $300 for the stuff in December and like $300 for the stuff in January. And it was just going to do it in and whatever. So I don't even technically count, I don't even count that.
Right. I was more, I was like getting your feet wet, understanding.
Yeah, I was like, let me try this. And then, let me
Oh,
buy
this is
this here,
sustainable.
buy this, and then like February, I think like January 20th rolled around. I'm like, you know what? These things are moving. I just made $200 here, $200 there. Like,
Right.
let me go all in. So like
This
applied
is
for,
actually going to work out.
like applied for a different credit card to use, like a business card, and like February 1st was like my first like, going in. So
You guys are gonna have fun, dude.
Yeah.
Q4 is a whole different ball game, dude.
Yeah.
Everything, especially anything giftable, toys, clothing, shoes, anything giftable at all. The Cupid chart is exactly how you want it. Sellers are dropping off, price is rising. Oh my god, there's so many examples I can point out from last year. That's just unreal. Like, there's so much money to be made, especially you mentioned Black Friday sales. Have 50 grand. If you have 50 grand, have it available for Black Friday, dude. You won't have enough money for Black Friday, especially because Rakuten Top Cash run these like insane
15% cashbacks.
more legit. Nike, Rakuten ran 20% or 25% during the entire week of Black Friday. Like, you can't lose on those products. If you're breaking even, you're still making that 20-25%. In which I'm not even breaking even on those. I was making 30, 40, 50%, and then you have 20-25% on top of that. Like, the margins are unreal during Q4. You guys are gonna have a blast.
And I'm worried about is not being able to keep up.
Yeah, definitely
We'll see.
stock up before. I'll probably make a post in Jyles FBA. Come like October, stock up before on FBA materials. So, go get those boxes from the PO. Go get the labels from UPS. Stock up on all the materials you can, because the last thing you want to do is be running to Walmart in the middle of Q4 when you have 50 orders to ship out.
And so were 6 other people, and there's no boxes.
Yeah, I ran into issues just in the middle of, in the middle of February, where I go to Walmart and there's no boxes. I'm like, I'm looking for small 666s for my cards, and there's no boxes. I'm like, what the heck, dude?
And the ship date on Amazon is 4 or 5 days out, and you don't have that time.
Yeah. So Q4 is awesome. You guys will have a blast. Definitely have the most capital you can available come Black Friday, because that entire week is absurd. You mentioned Lulu bags. We were getting Lulu bags. We had them in our monitors. They were right when they would restock, they'd be in stock for an hour or two and go out of stock again. We were buying them for $38, selling them on Amazon for $80 with FBM. People would set up expedite shipping. People would pay $40 for expedite shipping, and then say they order it on Monday and have to get there by Friday. They'd send USPS first class $4 or $5, and then they'd make $35 on top of their $25. And I know a kid. He used to work for Jyles FBA. His name is Viper. He sold like 2,000, 3,000 Lulu bags in the span of November to December. He probably cashed out. I mean, let's do some math. Say you average on the low side, $25 a unit.
Yeah.
3,000 bags. $75K in profit, which is unreal.
And that's very conservative.
Yeah. And I believe Rakuten or Top Cash had Lulu as well. So you're stacking all that cash back as well, which is just the cherry on top for that. And even with Stanley's last Q4, I know we're still cooking certain Stanleys, but any type of Stanley last Q4 was just going absolutely wild. I mean, we were seeing over $100 prices, and we were buying them sure off the Stanley website for $45 with the 15, 16, 17% cash back on top of that. And there'll be products just like that again this year. There's always a few heavy hitters, and then also like Lego. We bought some Lego from Walmart for $50. It was selling like 200 times in October. Next thing you know, it's Q4. It's middle of December. It's now selling 900 times, and the price went from $110 to $200. It's like, you can't make that up. Actually, it's the one back there. I have it on my shelf back there. I just got a return from last Q4 somehow, and it's actually that Lego, so that's kind of cool. But yeah,
I just did a quick search, and we posted these bags like probably every time they came into stock, which was
Yeah.
twice a day maybe, but low end was $70 sale price at $38 cost, netted 18 to $20 without shipping, and these sold 8,000 times a month.
Yeah.
So, you catch 1% of that and you're making almost $2,000 off one product.
And these weren't just the
just
black
wild.
bags; these were the whites too.
Right, I was solely looking at black, so
Yeah.
basically double that for white, red, navy blue, just
Yeah,
running
navy
through all our posts.
Big too. Yeah. And absurd. I can't wait for you guys to experience Q4. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be definitely one to remember. You guys were just getting your toes wet last year, so you guys didn't get a full go around. But yeah, Michael, you have anything else for Adam?
I've probably said all my piece.
I think this was a pretty good episode. We talked about a lot: Amazon, cards, general reselling, eBay flipping back in the early 2000s. Adam, appreciate you coming on, talking with us, and good luck, obviously, with all your endeavors. We'll obviously stay in touch with
Yeah, for
everything.
sure. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
See you next week, Adam.
Yeah, absolutely.
Peace, guys.
See you guys.